In our next problem, we're going to identify the hypothesis and conclusion. I'm going to put my hypothesis in yellow and my conclusion in green. So in example A, it says, if a polygon has 6 sides. So my hypothesis is a polygon has 6 sides. My conclusion, it's a hexagon. Now on letter B, another performance will be scheduled if the first one is sold out. So notice my hypothesis is written second. The first one has to be sold out. My conclusion is another performance will be scheduled. Notice I didn't have the word then in there, but we could have just as well. Now I'm going to write letter A in if-then form on example 2. 4 quarters will be or can be exchanged for $1. So I would say if, have to throw a pronoun in here, if you have 4 quarters, could be any pronoun, could be I, then they can be exchanged for $1. Notice, would have been right if I wrote it backwards. That is, if I have $1, then can it be exchanged for 4 quarters? Sure. Sometimes the order matters, sometimes it doesn't, and we'll take a look at that one. The sum of the measures of 2 supplementary angles is 180 degrees. So we're going to say if 2 angles are supplementary, then they sum to 180. And notice I could write that backwards, couldn't I? That is, if I had two angles that add to 180, then they have to be supplementary. Now we have 3 statements that are related. We call these the related conditionals. And what happens is, if I take and I flip the hypothesis and conclusion around, then that is, we're going to call that the converse. So what happens is the converse would be flipping it around. Now if I take a look at my inverse, I keep the same order, but I negate both of them. Think inverse, you're undoing it. So it would be not P implies not Q. That would be my inverse. And then my contrapositive is my converse of my inverse. That means I'm going to make them negative and flip them around. Those are just the names of them. But we need to memorize those.